Are Ultrasabers lightsabers compatible with Saberforge lightsabers? In other words, can I take some of my hilt components from my Ultrasabers lightsabers and use them with my Saberforge hilts? So that's a pretty common question that people have, and the short answer is unfortunately no. These companies are not really compatible. The long answer is mostly no, so let's go into that. Now, the main way these companies are not compatible is through their threading. So the threading on the pommels, sometimes emitter pieces, body pieces, different things like that. It's a totally different threading system. Ultrasabers uses two types of threading. They use one type with their V2 hilts. Those are kind of narrow hilts. And then the other type that they use is MHS compatible. And MHS is a system developed by the Custom Saber Shop. So that actually means that certain Custom Saber Shop components will work with Ultrasabers hilts, but that's something for another video. Now on the Saberforge end, Saberforge stuff is not compatible with either of those systems. It's not compatible with the V2 threading. It's also not compatible with MHS. So that's unfortunate. Now, Saberforge does have different threading as well. So among different Saberforge hilts, some of their kind of more basic sabers are a little bit thinner and they're not ISpy compatible. Now ISpy, that's another acronym coming from Saberforge that's called Adaptive Saber Parts. So that's really the acronym to look for with Saberforge. Several of their lightsabers, many of their lightsabers really have Adaptive Saber Parts compatible parts, but not all of them do. So even if you're shopping around within the same company, you want to make sure certain pieces are compatible. So that's really the main stuff, you guys. I guess another compatibility thing to note with Saberforge is that certain Kyberlite pieces are compatible with certain Saberforge hilts. But again, it's kind of case by case, so I don't want to get into that too much here. But it is possible with some of the hilts. But again, these saber companies are not really compatible, not in terms of pommels or couplers or emitter pieces, anything like that. Now, the silver lining to all this is there are a few exceptions, a few things that are compatible, and those are blade plugs and blades. Okay, so both companies use 1-inch diameter blades and blade plugs. That means for the most part, you should be able to use a blade plug from Ultrasabers with a lightsaber from Saberforge. Now, from my own personal experience, I've noticed a little bit of variation in the diameter in the blade plugs from Ultrasabers. So I've had blade plugs get stuck sometimes. So just be aware that's possible. I think it's sort of a quality control issue. And that's something that's actually possible among any saber companies. So if you use a blade from one company, even if it's marketed as 1-inch diameter, it may be slightly off. So just, factor that in. That's possible. But that, you are able to modify it. You can maybe sand it down a little bit to make it work, but just, be aware that's possible. Anyway, that's just a quick look at compatibility. Overall, these saber companies are not compatible with each other, but you might be able to make it work with blade plugs and blades simply because both companies use 1-inch diameter. So that's it for now.